Welcome, Carl, to the Box of Random podcast, where sometimes we use words we hate. On an unrelated note, this is the spoiler-sode! I will never say that again. Just the word fills me with shame.
Spoiler-sode?
Yes.
Why? Because it's a stupid word or because it's spoilers?
Because it's a stupid word. Just the very use just crushes my soul.
Okay.
You have a weak soul then.
So...
No, it's just, I'm very sensitive.
Okay, so before we get into the spoiler whatever...
Tanner's become Big Brother.
Yeah.
He controls everything.
Okay, so... we have a few announcements. First off is we're going to be starting up a sort of schedule.
Oh, yeah. A theme schedule.
Yeah, so we're going to have a theme for each week of the month. So, like, first week's episode will be just announcements, information, so on and so forth. And then after that, we'll probably just talk about what we did over the past week, just tell stories and just have some fun. Week 2 is going to be kind of miscellaneous stuff, so like theories or upcoming whatevers that we're excited for. So just things that are things that don't quite fit into the other stuff. Week 3 is going to be like video games, board games, just games. We're going to be talking about them. Probably some spoilers in...
Probably no sports, though.
Yeah, probably. Well, we might bring up rugby a little bit.
And basketball. I love basketball.
But we don't, so... And
I
we're the
thought
ones...
you liked
We are the ones that matter. I'm joking. Okay, and then
We is all-inclusive, Brogan.
And then week 4 is going to be... what did we decide on? Books, right?
Ooh, but...
So we're going to be talking about books, authors,
doing that book
and doing
title thing we did.
That'll be part 2 of every, or of a few of them. That'll be part 2 for the 4th week episodes, and then some months have a 5th week in them. Like a 5th Sunday, which is when we upload these. So, on those months, I think we're probably just going to talk. Just be us and have some fun. And hopefully, when we get bigger, we might be able to do something more on 5th weeks to make more of a big event. But, so there's our first announcement. And honestly, it feels really good to have announcements.
It was pretty funny when Tanner was pitching this. He was like, yeah, I have this vague idea of doing exactly this and this and this.
Well, because, like, I just meant, like, we should have generalized themes for each week.
Yeah, but he's like, I kind of got this vague concept of exactly this.
Okay, I worded it badly. Brogan is raising her hand. What do you want?
We never said who was on this episode.
Oh, right. So we've got the regular 2.
Dun, dun, dun!
Tanner Theta, which is me. Parris Omicron, spelled like Sigma.
Yellow.
And Brogan Beta is back.
Yay!
No
Alliteration.
Avery Omega?
Yeah.
Yeah, no Avery Omega this time. I forgot his name.
That's how close we are.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been formally introduced in a long time because he just kind of shows up.
He does.
He's like, I'm not going to be in this episode.
Poof! I'm here in the background. Hi, guys.
I apologize for my coughing. I've had this for like 3 weeks now. It just... Everything else is gone. I had a really bad... whatever. Cold, yuck, whatever. Who knows? But the cough is the only thing left, and it just won't go away.
Yeah. I think we have 2 more announcements. One of them we all know about. One of them not everybody knows about.
Probably not me. I am usually ignorant.
Well, I think I'm the only one who knows about it, and it's more like a teaser thing than an actual announcement.
Tell me more.
But
Carl,
so
I relate to you all of a sudden.
We will confuse
so
you, Carl.
first is the announcement that we all know about. GameSpaz, what we talked about in the last episode, our brother is no longer able to
He
maintain
got
it.
a pretty demanding job right now.
And it was just expensive, plus he wasn't really making any money off of it.
It was something he could do and work on while he was between jobs.
So now that he's got a pretty good, well, not necessarily good, but demanding job.
Yeah, time consuming. And he's also doing school.
Yeah. So
And
he was
has a
like,
puppy.
yeah, and he just got a puppy. So he was like, I don't have time for this anymore. I'm just going to shut down the site. And then I was like, I am really slow because I have free web hosting for the next little while. I can't believe I forgot that. So he was like, well, even if I don't have to pay for it, I just don't have time for it. So if you guys want to take it over, though, feel free. So we are now the admins to GameSpaz.com.
Mostly Tanner. I help, but Tanner's better at it than me right now.
See, I'm going to be the one helping them play the games.
Yeah, so
That's
we
my
just...
job.
She's our research assistant.
Precisely.
We just got control of the site last week. We've got just a small little blip explaining why we have the site now. That's the end of that one. Go check us out. There are still a few things that I need to figure out, because freaking WordPress sucks. I hate it, and I will end all of you. All of them. Sorry. Well, I guess...
Run, Carl.
I guess...
Run
yeah.
away.
All of your WordPress parts, I'm just gonna, like...
Surgically remove.
Yeah. Amputate them. We have our ways.
A knife. Scalpel.
And what's the last one?
Alright, and so then this last one...
Ooh, on the edge of my pretend seat right now. I'm at the back of my normal seat.
Okay, there we go. I was about to say, you have a seat.
So, Parris and I talked about this, and it's kind of been a thing, but I think I found a way to make it, like, actually happen. So, here's the teaser. We could be expanding soon to not just a podcast. So, we will have updates for you on that next month. And Brogan is extremely surprised. So next month we will have more information on that, and hope it picks up.
What do you mean, not just a podcast?
You'll have to wait and see.
You're mean.
Oh yeah.
I want to know.
I'm Big Brother.
You know, I'm the only one younger than you in this room.
Huh?
I'm the only one younger than you.
It's a joke. Big Brother is watching.
I don't get it.
Before your time.
Okay, so we've eliminated a lot of the room noise, but you're still gonna hear a little bit of birds chirping in the background. We do this during the day, so that's probably gonna be a fairly common occurrence, because we don't have a sound-treated studio room to do this in, which I really, really want, but I don't have.
Studio closet! Closet.
Even that wouldn't do quite what I want it to. It would probably help, but still, just... So...
Tanner finally finished ReZero.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about it.
Yep.
Not when I'm here. I don't want to watch it, I just don't want to know about it.
You lying liar. She's lying. Also, Breath of the Wild. That's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
So,
I have a house.
Really good.
I have
One
a
quick
house.
thing.
I got a house and Daryl and I quit.
Because she played it like Animal Crossing. She's like, I got a house! And then just stood around like Animal Crossing.
So,
Sorry.
bringing this up reminds me, Our last episode, you may have noticed, it was outdated. It was published last week and was talking about 2 months ago.
26 days till Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So, what happened there was we recorded the episode, and then I edited it. Like, I did that the day we recorded it, and then I just let it sit there. I didn't upload it, I didn't look at it, I did nothing with it for 2 months. So that was entirely my fault.
We moved.
So,
moving does that.
yeah.
My room was organized
forever.
within a week. My room was completely unpacked within a week.
I have boxes still.
So do I. My room is kind of a mess.
Organized child.
No, it's because Mom makes you be an organized child.
Oh no, I chose to do it. I made her help me. Well, I didn't make her, but I kept begging her to help me with the heavy stuff.
Your heavy stuff. I just realized that was a fat joke.
You're mean.
I think that's my favorite fat joke now. Your heavy stuff. Best fat joke. So, Breath of the Wild, it was a lot of fun.
It's so good.
I loved it until I did the story. I spent the entire game believing that there would be a good story, and apparently a lot of people liked it. I didn't. Parris didn't. Brogan didn't. Avery didn't. No one in our family did. It was ridiculous, and it didn't fit the Legend of Zelda lore at all. I realized that they were trying to move away from traditional Legend of Zelda games, but I don't care. They still need a good story. That story ruined the game for me. As soon as I finished the story, I was like, that was the crappiest thing ever, and I just can't play the game anymore because the story was just so disappointing. It's a wonderful game, but I just can't play it anymore. And,
See, it was about the same story I
file.
was expecting. It was basically what I expected it to be. I was hoping that the one we said it would be was going to be it, and I just really wanted it to be good, but I did not expect quality.
It was disappointing. The story ruins the entire game for me. That is how important a good story is in a game. So if you're developing a game, please keep that in mind.
I only got excited about it like right before it came out.
So, Skyward Sword stepped on Zelda lore. They threw stuff out and stepped on it, and they stepped on the approach to characters and stuff.
Which we talked about.
And Breath of the Wild stepped on, stomped on, curb stomped, stabbed, beat up, killed, and then spat on the Zelda lore.
And then it ate it, barfed it up, and said, here's the new stuff.
And then a dog ate it and pooped it.
And they said,
Gross.
okay, that's even better.
I imagine that the board meeting, they are gathered around the table, and they're like, okay, you know, people value consistency in stories, and we want to tell a good story, so let's break out the timeline and figure out how we're gonna work it all out. Then a guy gets this huge scroll and rolls it out over the entire table, and they're like, wait, that's the timeline? Screw it. Just screw it, we're starting over. Light it on fire.
Yeah. If Breath of the Wild is a start over point, then that's better.
If it was a new franchise, the story's mediocre. It's okay.
But it's still just, it's not a good story. Want to know what has a good story? Walk Fu.
I love that one.
I know it sounds ridiculous because it's a little kid's show, but it is one of my favorite stories out of, like, anything.
My Hero Academy also has a good story.
Yeah, My Hero Academy is also really good. But then enter Breath of the Wild, and it just, like, stomped on the name of good stories everywhere.
So, yeah, I was talking today at, one of Tanner's friends' Eagle projects to him, and his name will henceforth be Rub-a-Dub.
Rub-a-dub, yes.
And so Avery and I were talking with Rub-a-Dub, and he was like, "Oh, I don't see what you guys don't like about Zelda Breath of the Wild's story." And so we were talking to him, and he hasn't finished the game all the way, so that limits a little bit of why I was so bleh. But he actually liked a bunch of it that I really disliked and was awful. And so, yeah, I don't know. Usually Rub-a-Dub has some good taste for stories in my experience, but I don't agree that Breath of the Wild wasn't bad. The story, not the game. The game was great.
Yeah.
I love the game.
Rub-a-Dub always claims that I'm his little sister. It's weird, but I go along with it because it's funny.
I just love that he chose the name Rub-a-Dub. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub.
Yet only one was alive.
The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
Guess which one killed the others?
The candlestick maker.
Yeah.
He burned their eyes out.
No, he dipped them
with
in wax.
And then he burned their eyes out with wax, and then everything else about them got burned with wax.
You don't burn things out with wax. It covers things.
It got so hot that their eyes melted out.
I don't think that's how it works, bro.
I don't care. I decided that's how it works, so that's how it works now.
Maybe they are actually alive and Brogan just wants them to be dead.
You're the one who said they were dead.
Well, you're the one who says the wax melted their eyeballs out.
'Cause it did.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
I've met the witnesses.
Breath of the Wild. The gameplay. So, yeah, that's it.
It's pretty.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I love
it. Is.
People pay millions of dollars for a painting. We paid $60 for thousands of paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Video game.
Okay, so
Are amazing. That's totally a word.
Because of Breath of the Wild and Voltron, we have come up with a new character archetype. It is called the Space Battery. It started with Voltron, Princess Allura. I keep calling her Alencia. What is that?
I don't know.
Okay, so
Valencia is a thing that I also can't remember.
Princess Allura, her entire point of existing in that show is so that they can use the spaceship.
She powers the castle and various other things. Her power is powering other powers.
Thus, the space battery. So
also, it's Voltron, which happens largely in outer space.
Yeah. Space battery. So then we realized that Zelda and Breath of the Wild is very much the same
She's
thing.
a takes-up space battery.
Yeah.
No, a waste of space battery. This is the worst
and should
Zelda.
be dead.
The worst Zelda character we've ever gotten.
The
be
entire
dead.
point of her existence was to seal Ganon, which she couldn't do until she died. Well, almost died,
She
but
should have died.
it would have made for a much more compelling story.
They could have had a scene at the end about Zelda finally moving on, and because through the whole game they have the theme of things that disappear are gone for good, but you can still move on and make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. But
And so through that, they do that over and over. They start the game, you wake up, you walk out, and Hyrule is dead. It's gone. There is no longer any royalty, any cities,
Except for Ghost.
except the other races, which is only kind of part of Hyrule.
yeah,
And
and we've covered that too.
yeah, and so And remember in the trailer, they made a huge deal of the Master Sword being rusted and chipped. It would sunder if you spoke too loud. And then, not only is Zelda alive for 100 years without aging, even though she was...
With no explanation on how, she just kind of does it, because magic princessness, I guess.
Even though the royal bloodline obviously ages based on everything. And just, there's no reason or explanation, and it's stupid. But then, she's alive. Even though all this stuff happens, she got 0 consequences to her personally. She got her powers, which she was whining about through all the memories. And then she doesn't seem very affected by any of this. She's just like, yay, it's dead. And so that consequence should have happened but didn't. They just decided it didn't, which goes against the entire theme of the game.
Yeah.
And then the Master Sword, not only did it repair itself instead of losing power like it does every other time it sleeps, it loses its power and gets weaker. Not only does it repair itself, but it also has no consequence when it breaks during the gameplay. It just comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I want to say something that's kind of really cool. Before I forget, Avery beat the game. He beat the final boss with a Korok leaf. Or
Korok leaf.
Korok. That's what it is.
Koraki.
Koroki.
I'm sorry, I couldn't remember what it was called. But
Yeah.
he beat the game with that.
And then, shoot, what was I gonna say?
We were talking about how the Master Sword sucks.
It was a poor decision to make it not just go.
I wonder if I can get rid of it. First thing you do when you get this magical sword. I wonder if I can get rid of it.
Tanner went to great effort to try to drop the thing.
And to break it.
Well, because it was disappointing. It was just so disappointing. Like, it's the Master Sword. So, it had 60 attack damage if you were attacking guardians or something affected by Ganon's malice.
Only Guardians.
Yeah.
They say that, but it was only Guardians. In the compendium with the pictures and stuff, it says that the silver enemies were touched by Ganon's calamity. Touched by calamity. Yet, your weapon doesn't glow. Master Sword won't glow, so it's only Guardians. And that's just...
And so, otherwise, it's 30 attack power, and it's a one-handed weapon, so it attacks pretty fast. So I was like, oh, okay, that's okay. But there are so many weapons that are better than the Master Sword. And that was just extremely disappointing, so I used it to mine.
It's the Sword of Boulder's Bane.
Yeah.
The mining lumber sword.
It's more effective mining and cutting down trees than
Because
actual combat late game.
it doesn't have consequence.
Yeah.
Using the Master Sword is just... it doesn't matter. Which is, again, completely away from the themes they were kind of sort of doing through the whole game.
And they even warned you when you get it, don't use it more than you need to, else it won't be there when you truly need it.
Except it will, because it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. Gameplay-wise, and the world, and just the animation, I love it. It is a great game. But
Story-wise,
If you
it
ignore
sucks.
if you ignore the main story.
Which I did.
Okay, I was also disappointed by Cass. You know, the
yeah,
the
the
parrot man with an accordion.
Rito Bard.
Yeah. I was excited because his story with his master's songs, and I was just waiting for it to tie together and have an actual story attached to him and progress through it, and it was just shrine quests.
Yeah.
Okay, I remembered what I was going to say. Link, in that game, sees himself as the Hylian champion and only the Hylian champion. It's how he defines himself. And so after
I identify as an Apache attack helicopter.
Yeah, well, I'm a
I'll use my
tomahawk
most
missile.
powerful
Or a
attack.
walkie-talkie.
Attack.
Okay, and so through the game, his only driving force is to defeat the Calamity. That's it. That's who he is. And after defeating it, all of a sudden he has nothing to do with his life. And so that could have been so good. Like, if it addressed that with a ghost Zelda telling him how he needs to become, like, just how he needs to move on, and that he has righted the wrongs as best as can happen, and he needs to live in Hyrule and just do things on his own, find his own life, be his own person. But nope, let's just follow the princess again. What's character growth? It's for suckers.
And then also,
He's a clone.
they don't actually really explain what happens after you defeat Ganon. So you defeat Ganon, and they're all like,
Nothing.
yay! And then all of a
happens.
sudden there are all these flowers and happiness, and it's like, what happened to the monsters? Are they still there? Were they always there? Did
about
they
the blood
appear?
moons?
Yeah,
Did
the
those
blood
still happen?
moons.
Ugh, that was creepy.
The blood
I like
moons
the
are
blood
awesome.
moons.
No, it was creepy because randomly they just started coming back to life, but I was trying to walk back to the village. Just right, all of a sudden, this dead thing just appears out of nowhere.
I'm watching
This
you,
thing that I had
Mazowski.
just killed and turned around and then turned
Always
back around because like I messed up with the camera angle and then I put it back. Like as soon as I put it back, it came back to life on the first blood moon I went by, and it was really creepy.
Mechanically, I really have small complaints and nitpicks with how the game plays. And so we all agree that the story was not good, so let's move on and talk about the good parts of the game.
Yeah,
One
because
thing,
there were a lot.
yeah, there were so many. I really like how small you are. Like, you're a small part of the world. Most of the people you meet through the game just think you're a traveler.
Yeah.
You're just another person.
And even the big plot point story people, they don't recognize you as the champion unless you have the Master Sword when you talk to them.
I love climbing. That's super neat.
Yeah, the climbing was...
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Climbing
And then you
gear
die.
is probably... is definitely one of the most useful armors.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it doesn't look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like the rubber helmet. We were so close.
Elinko!
We were so close to getting a set of rubber armor that actually looked good. We were so close. And then they're like, fish hat!
Fish heads, yummy, yummy fish. Oh, roly-poly fish
I was gonna
heads.
say, I thought it was
Fish
really
heads, eat them up, yum.
There we go. That's why I keep saying yummy, yummy fish heads.
Yeah. I love Hyrule Castle, too.
Yes.
That's such a great area. I wish there were more dungeons like that in the game. Like, the Divine Beasts were fun. I enjoyed them. But I would love more castles.
Mm-hmm.
I would also like it if they would separate Breath of the Wild from regular Zelda, and instead of making successive games, they just made more in the world as they got more space and processing and technology and stuff. Just add on to the world, get Holodrum and Lavinia in there.
Because I love Breath of the Wild, but there's just no replacement for a good Twilight Princess.
Just so you know, guys, I didn't die. I'm still here.
All right.
So, Rub-a-Dub was saying it sounded like we just wanted an old Zelda story. And no, I don't think so. I would have been fine with any story as long as it was good. There was no twist in Breath of the Wild. There was nothing
Everything
interesting.
played out exactly as you thought. Like,
There was nothing interesting that happened during the story.
I love stories with twists.
Which is, yeah.
The point.
Like,
Yeah, they're supposed to be interesting.
like, I just,
Alright.
for
Okay,
a book,
last point.
for a
Last
book
point, and then we got to go on to part 2 because we're already over half hour.
Okay. Final boss. The final boss was bad.
Even so, Shadow of Mordor, gameplay it was lackluster, but
Yeah, it was
story wise,
It was a Shadow of Mordor. It was a level leading up to a QuickTime event, essentially. But story-wise, it was so cool
Breath of the Wild, it was kind of lame gameplay wise.
and pretty lame story-wise.
It just wasn't a compelling boss fight. Like
It
the
was
rest
boring.
of them were more fun. Especially if you got all the divine beasts, you just plowed through Ganon. It was
The
silly.
Blights were kind of fun, but they were too similar compared to other Zelda games with the diverse bosses of awesomeness and lots of fun. The Blights were very samey.
I had
Kirby
a lot.
Monster Hunter.
I had a lot more fun fighting Lionels than the bosses.
We never
But-
talked about the map.
Kirby Monster
Well,
Hunter.
Okay,
we got to go on to part 2. So leave us a rating and a comment, review, whatever the heck it is, wherever the heck it is you're watching
Do the
or
thing.
listening. Not watching, listening.
do the thing, Link.
So,
do the thing.
We
I miss
will
Mike Iron Fist.
we will see you in part 2. Hopefully, see you there.